Hey guys, how you doing? So in this video, I thought I'm gonna show you how I clean up a bad sounding recording, and where I found this recording was on ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs has lots of very good voices, but some people upload their recordings of themselves with really low quality audio. So that's perfect for me to show you how you can clean up ElevenLabs voices and how you can clean up bad sounding voices in general. The methods that I'm going to use are a plugin that I want to show you, which is called DEX Revive, which will be an insert on this audio clip. And I also want to go through how to analyze a voice in RX11 using just our eyes, just to see what type of wave file we're dealing with. This is very useful to do with not all sound files that you import, but definitely if you are working with voice files, or if a sound studio sends you voiceovers, or if you are receiving any raw takes from a studio, it's always good to be able to know how to look and analyze audio files from any given source that you receive. So in this section, what you see here on the screen is I've got just some audio that was generated using ElevenLabs, and with this audio, I'm just going to play that back. You should be able to hear that.
According to legend, Rome was founded on April 21, 753 BCE by Romulus, who, along with his twin brother Remus, was said to have been suckled by a she-wolf. Archaeological evidence supports human settlement on the Palatine Hill as early as the 8th century BCE. Initially, Rome was a monarchy ruled by Etruscan kings, developing early political and religious institutions and a strong warrior culture. In 509 BCE, Romans overthrew their last king, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus.
So what you just heard is a text about Rome read by a voice that I found in ElevenLabs. The way I found the voice in ElevenLabs is pretty easy. When you go to voices, then you look for different voices. I sorted the voices by latest, and then it shows me people that have set up their voices in the ElevenLabs market as the latest. So these are all types of voices. I chose an English one, which you can see here, and this English one was able to give me someone at least who spoke English, and she offered up her voice to read that text about Roman history. Now, if you were able to hear what I was hearing on the mix of this voice, it sounds very bad. So there's lots of background noise in the voice. The voice sounds distant from the microphone. She's also very reverberant. So this is a very typical and classical example of what you have to deal with as a sound designer, receiving a voice file that comes from someone maybe recording it with their voice or recording it with the microphone from the laptop. Well, luckily, nowadays, these issues with voices and sounding that bad are able to be fixed. The technology is getting really much better and better in fixing these issues. So one thing that you might also know is Adobe Podcast. So Adobe Podcast is, let me show you. It's actually a very known cleanup tool for voices, and they say that they make your voices sound a lot more like a podcast sounding voice, which they do. Now, the thing about this is, oh, I need a password. Let's see. So the thing about this is that it's a one button fix solution. So you don't have any flexibility with working with Adobe Podcast. So you pretty much just get what you hear, but their flexibility has improved over the times. It's basically a very simple interface where you let me see there. It's a very basic interface where you upload your audio file of the voice that you hear, and then let me see if we can get an example of this. Here's my password. And it adds processing, it removes background noise, it literally enhances the audio. Now, what I'm gonna do is go to my session now and grab the audio file from ElevenLabs, which is here. Drag that there, and then it's going to clean up and process this audio file. Now, in order to be able to really listen to what we're going to do with this audio file, I'm just going to have the original here on track 1 of this VO, and then on the other tracks I'm just going to share with you the processing and the basically the other versions that we make. Now, what we can do with this using RX11 is we can load this audio file on RX11, and we can do some general cleanup on this. Let me see how far the podcast cleanup is. Now, in theory, you should be able to hear what I'm hearing from the Mac. Let me just make sure. Okay, so you should be able to hear the playback.
According to legend, Rome was founded on April 21, 753 BCE by Romulus, who, along with his twin brother Remus, was said to have been suckled by a she-wolf. Archaeological evidence supports human settlement on the Palatine Hill as early as the 8th century BCE. Initially, Rome was a monarchy ruled by Etruscan kings.
Okay, so you can basically hear from this that you have very simple slider, the background removal slider that we have here, and the speech enhanced version. So I think this setting sounded pretty good. I'm just going to download the file. Then this downloaded file, I'm just going to drag and drop here, and now we can listen to it from the session as well. You can also see in the waveform that the background noise has been reduced, and that the voice has been it hasn't really been compressed that much. But the way Adobe Podcast works is they try to find the voice that is inside the audio that you give it, and then they train their AI with that voice that they find, and then they regenerate the audio with a new voice, basically. So instead of really cleaning up all the background noises and cleaning up all the reverberations, they are actually just generating a new AI generated voice from the voice that you uploaded with them, which gives you the illusion that it takes away the background, but it's not taking away the background. It's actually just generating a voice clone that sounds very, very, very similar to the original person in the bad recorded audio file clip. So it's a really, really interesting process, and it's a really smart the way they did this. I think we can hear it from the session here. So here's the original.
According to legend, Rome was founded on April 21.
And new.
According to legend, Rome was founded on April 21, 753 BCE by Romulus, who, along.
Okay, so I had my microphone on, so you basically get the background noise from my microphone with that, but this is with my microphone off.
Initially, Rome was a monarchy ruled by Etruscan kings, developing early political and religious institutions and a strong warrior culture.
Now, the way that it sounds now and what I was explaining just now about the voice being cloned, that is something that audio processors are using at the moment. So if we would take this original audio, let's make the color different. So the original audio is this gray version, this gray yellow version of the audio file. Now let's say that we take this version and we duplicate it and we send it to RX, and what we see here is the file in RX, and just let me go through with what we actually see here. So the voices in RX that you see is these squiggly lines. So all the S's, all the T's, these are these very let me use this, these very spiky waveforms that you see. Those are S's, those are T's, those are sharp attack sounds that are registered by the waveform viewer in RX. Now, all the squiggly lines you see at the bottom, that's our voice. So all the layers that our voice creates in the audio spectrum, they are being viewed here. I always hear from clients and that this view of the audio is as if you're looking into an X-ray of the audio file, which I really like, because it is actually a pretty much a type of X-ray of the audio file that you're looking at. So it gives us a lot of information. Now, a big information here when I zoom out is the bottom of the analyzer you see is noise, and also usually you have hums or machine humming that is at this frequency. So here you can very clearly see that there is humming going on in the background, and it's very low, and you can pretty much use this tool. So for me, this tool is number 3. And you can horizontally select whatever you want, and then you select the bottom there and Shift S, and you just remove anything that's in there. It's going to make your sound much better than it originally is. Now what you can also do if you dare to clean a bit more is you can look at all the squiggly lines and you can see what the lowest frequency of the voice is, and you can also just remove audio that is pretty much getting in the zone of that lowest frequency of the voice. So I would even say try to remove even more, and now you will have a much cleaner low frequency recording of your voice, which now you can add the second layer of cleanup to the voice in this sense. Now, what we're going to do is I'm just going to use Dialog Isolate. So what we've been listening to with Adobe Podcast is very similar with Dialog Isolate, but in this case, Dialog Isolate has it also has a reverb button. It also has a voice noise button. The normal sensitivity, I'll leave that on 5. And then I just render the entire audio file. So it takes a couple of seconds, and this is the most similar approach to Adobe Podcast that we can get. Now, what we can do is we're going to just reference the difference between what RX is going to do and what Adobe Podcast has done, so that you can listen together with me at what the difference is between the two processing methods. Now you can see here that there's a huge level of cleanup on these voice files. RX is really just taking away all the background noise, taking away any hisses, and it's just only leaving the voice as it is in the audio file. Let's send it back. Oh yeah, let's do this. Apply. Yes. Let's give this a different color, green. Okay, so this is RX.
According to legend, Rome was founded on April 21, 753 BCE.
And this is Adobe Podcast.
According to legend, Rome was founded on April 21, 753 BCE.
So I would say that the Adobe Podcast Enhance version sounds a lot clearer. It sounds like it's also much less destructive. The RX version really sounds as if it makes it sound as if it's an MP3. It's very, very washy. Let's listen to another random piece.
In 509 BCE, Romans overthrew their last king, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus.
So it's I wouldn't use the RX version, or at least I would dial it a lot different, rather than having it so extreme as we have it now. But this is just more as an informational way to show you what levels and degrees of audio cleanup that you have. Now, what I also want to show you is this tool that I found, which is actually a very good plugin. I'm just going to use the original audio, change the color here to orange. And it's a tool that's called DEX Revive. Now, what I was explaining about this AI generated voice that is being created from the original audio, this is what is happening with this plugin. So this plugin is, I would say, a mixture between RX11 and a mixture between Adobe Podcast. You have a dial, you have different types of algorithms, and you have a dial that you can find the sweet spot with in order to see what the best outcome is for the cleanup, because it also takes away the background noise, it clones the original voice, and it resynthesizes a new voice to be as close to the original voice as possible. Now let me just mute this, and then you'll be able to hear the raw audio transforming into a cleaned up version of the audio. Let me just play this back.
According to legend, Rome was founded on April 21, 753 BCE by Romulus, who, along with his twin brother Remus, was said to have been suckled by a she-wolf. Archaeological evidence supports human settlement on the Palatine Hill as early as the 8th century BCE. Initially, Rome was a monarchy ruled by Etruscan kings.
So as you can hear now, the background was removed, the voice has been resynthesized and has been reintroduced. Now, what I like to do is just compare it with Adobe Podcast. So I'm going to shift select my track. Then when I click track 2, it's going to shift to the other track. So this way you'll be able to see when I switch track in order for you to listen between Adobe Podcast and DEX Revive. I'm just going to do that now. Let me just play that back.
Initially, Rome was a monarchy ruled by Etruscan kings, developing early political and religious institutions and a strong warrior culture. In 509 BCE, Romans overthrew their last king, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, establishing a republic governed by elected officials. Establishing a republic governed by elected officials and the Senate. Governed by elected officials and the Senate.
So what you could listen there is the T when she says Senate. It's very nicely generated in the Adobe Enhance version. So the T is very clear. I like that. In the DEX Revive, it is very destructive to the audio. So you kind of also hear that the T gets lost. It just turns into Senate. Just a very low form of saying the D. The T starts turning into a D. That's what I wanted to say. Now, what we have here, I think what I would use is a DEX Revive, but pulled back a little bit more. Also, the thing that DEX Revive has, as opposed to the Adobe Enhanced track, is that DEX Revive is a lot more is a lot more roomy, so it still has this natural sounding element to the voice, while Adobe Enhanced just sounds very, we're going to completely generate from scratch this voice. And I really like the Adobe Enhanced because it's a lot clearer in this case, and it has this very nice sense of a cleanup that you can hear the voice is preserved. That's the word what I was looking for. The preserved voice is what you get with Adobe Enhance, and it's also what DEX Revive is trying to do. And this is something that I wanted to show you, which is something that we deal with as sound designers all the time. Audio from different sources, audio from different people. Sometimes the voiceover needs to be replaced, and it's a quick recording on a voice that you have to, on a phone, that you have to then remix in order to match with studio sounding recordings. This is also something that happens a lot, and I just wanted to give you a quick peek on how you can clean up ElevenLabs voices, and in general all types of voices that you would get when you record on a phone or on a low quality microphone. And it's astonishing how well you actually can get to a very nice sounding voice with the technology that there is out there today. This level of cleanup wasn't really possible in 10 years ago. This wasn't really possible on the level of cleanup that we have now. Maybe one that we can try out as well is the ElevenLabs voice isolator function. Let's see if ElevenLabs also has their own CS1615, that's the one. If they can clean up their own voice better than us. Okay, let me see. Let's upload that there. Name processing, because this is the thing. Lots of people are uploading their voices in
Rome was founded on April 20.
Completely different qualities. Now let me just download the WAV of this file and see how the cleanup has been done here. It looks like the same file. So this is the original.
Governed by elected officials and the Senate.
ElevenLabs.
Governed by elected officials and the Senate. This period saw constant internal struggles.
Okay, and then the original.
This period saw constant internal struggles between patricians.
Okay, now let's put Adobe Enhance versus ElevenLabs.
This period saw constant internal struggles between patricians, aristocrats, and plebeians. This period saw constant internal struggles between patricians, aristocrats.
So there you hear that the ElevenLabs cleanup, it's better than the original, but the Adobe enhanced version is a lot more, it's more surgical. It cleaned up all the noise in the background, it cleaned out the reverberation in the background, and in my opinion, the Adobe enhanced version is a much more cleaner version to work with. So it also depends on what you have going on in the mix, of course. So maybe you might have a mix that you're working on which has a voice that has been recorded on a phone or something very bad. It doesn't mean that you have to always get the most perfectly sounding clean VO as possible. It could also be that you maybe just use a little bit of the Adobe Enhance effects and or a little bit of the ElevenLabs version. It depends on music, it depends on sound effects. So if you look at it in the context of a mix, it's very different. It's very different how the usage of the type of cleanup is applied. So if you've got very heavy music in the mix, then the difference between Adobe's version and the ElevenLabs version might not be audible when you have a rock track, for example, in the background of your mix. So think about this. I wanted to share this with you. It's now a nice lengthy episode of 26 minutes. If you're still with me, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for following. And yeah, as usual, please let me know your questions, your comments. I'll make a video about any topic that you might be interested in. And please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.